morning. We are going to be talking about powers and exponents today. First, before we start, I want you to take a minute, copy down all of these notes, and when you finish, come on back and we will talk about it. Welcome back. Powers and exponents. So, as we discussed already, we know in x squared, the x is the base, 2 is the exponent. We're adding in that this whole expression is called a power. So the base is the number being multiplied. The exponent is how many times the base is being multiplied by itself. And the power is an expression using a base and an exponent. So when we are writing with exponents, if we have 3 times 3 times 5 times 5 times 5, we could write that as, so we have 3 being multiplied by itself 2 times, so 3 to the second power, or 3 squared, and we have 5 being multiplied by itself 3 times, so 5 times 5 times 5, or 5 to the third power, or 5 cubed, so it's 3 squared times 5 cubed. Another example, if we have 4 times 4 times x times y, if I look at this, I see I have 4 being multiplied by itself 2 times, so 4 times 4, so that's 2. So 4 squared, 4 to the second power, times, I have x times x, so that's x squared, times just 1y. So I can write it like this, 4 squared times x squared times y, or I can just write it 4 squared x squared y. Okay. Let's look at a couple examples. So I have negative 5 to the 4th. Because I have these parentheses, that means that negative goes with my 5. So that is the same as saying negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. And when I multiply that out, I end up with positive 625. Because I have an even number of negatives, so I know my answer is going to be positive. Okay, now here, and this is where it gets a little tricky. You might look at this and say negative 5 to the 4th, and say, okay, so I'm going to do negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5. But here's the tricky part. The negative stays. If it's negative 5 to the 4th, your answer is going to be negative. Okay? So, this is like putting it outside the parentheses and then saying inside the parentheses 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. When I do my math out, I bring down my negative sign. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is 625. So my final answer is negative 625. So it's really important when you see this number, the negative stays. It is not part of the base being multiplied. Okay? All right. So I have these 3 examples here that I would like you to try. When you finish, come on back. Okay, first one. Negative 3 to the 4th is like saying negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Positive 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. And negative 27 times negative 3, let's do that out. So negative 27 times negative 3. So 3 times 7 is 21. Carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So 81. And because my signs are the same, my answer is going to be positive. So my answer is positive 81. Now, if I look at my next one, I have negative 3 to the 4th. Now remember, that negative sign is not being held with the 3. So it is going to stay. So that will stay. And then we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? And I just did the math out, and I know my answer is going to be in the parentheses 81. And I'm just going to bring my negative sign down. So my final answer is going to be negative 81. And my third one, I have negative 7 to the 3rd. Again, no parentheses here. So I bring down my negative, and it's like saying 7 times 7 times 7. Okay, so I have 7 times 7 is 49. And again, I'm going to do my math off to the side. Do 49 times 7. 7 times 9 is 63. Carry the 6. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 6 is 34. That gives me 343. Again, just bringing my negative sign down, and then my 343. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to flip over. We have a couple more notes to do. Just flip my page, sorry. Line you back up. Okay, so take a minute and copy this down. And when you're finished, unpause and we will talk about it. Okay, evaluating expressions with powers. Same idea as evaluating expressions. Copy, substitute, solve. So we can just write that right up top that we are going to copy, substitute, solve. Just like regular. Okay, so my first one, I want to know 2x to the 3rd when x is negative 2. So I copied my problem down, I substituted my negative 2 in for my x, and then I'm going to solve it. And because my negative is in the parentheses, it's going to stay with my 2 when I'm multiplying. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, times negative 2 is negative 8. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish this out. I know with my order of operations, exponents always comes first. Okay? Comes before regular multiplying. So then I have 2 times negative 8 gives me negative 16 for my final answer. My next example, I have 2x to the 3rd, and my 2x is in parentheses. That's important. So you need to be sure that you have, when you substitute it in, you keep that negative sign with the 2. Then you multiply 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Then you do negative 4 to the 3rd. So negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 gives me for my final answer negative 64. Okay, so I have given you 3 examples for you to try. And I have attached below this a copy of my completed notes so you can check your work and make sure your notes look just like mine. Okay, thanks.